Hello everyone. Good evening.
Hello,
How
good
are you
evening.
all?
I'm fine. Hello, Rani ji. Hello, Kaneez ji.
Hi Isha. Great to see you.
Thank
Hi.
you so much,
Rajni.
man, for accepting our request. Thank you so
That's
much.
my pleasure. That's my pleasure. Okay. So many more to join right now. May I know where
Yeah.
are you from? Amana, Ria, Amandeep, Rani? Where are you joining from?
I am from Udaipur, Rajasthan.
Great. Rajasthan. Great. Great to see all of you. Very
How's
nice.
you?
I'm from Bangalore.
Amandeep,
Yeah.
Amandeep, where are you from?
Yes.
Oh, wow, from Saudi.
Mana is from Saudi. Okay, great.
So, yeah.
Not able to get the participants are okay, got it. Okay, just type in the comment section, all of you. Where are you from exactly? Nice meeting all of you there. Shaista, Alhan, Durga, Mandeep. Thank you all for joining. So, shall we begin? It's 4:30, right? Okay, so this will be an interactive session. By God's grace, we are all here to know something about new generation teens. Teens are something very challenging, and even I have a teen right now at home, and I know how challenging it is. So it's in my house also the same, but trying my level best and seeing to it that it is not as challenging now, right? So that's all about 1 minute. I'm facing some challenges with Anju was not able to join. Why again and again? Yeah, fine. Okay. So guys, all of you, namaste, good evening, assalamu alaikum, everyone. I would love to see all your faces also if you are on your cameras. If you on your cameras, it would be great for me because I'm not much accustomed to. Yes, Gurpreet is there. Gurpreet is there. Thank you, Gurpreet. You're there. Okay,
Hello.
from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Anju, where are you from, Anju?
Rajasthan, Alwar.
Great. All from Rajasthan. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. So when I talk about this would be an interactive session. So just be very active with your chats. Okay. If you can that would be really great for me if you mute yourself, but be really active with your chats, please.
Ma'am, the session is in Hindi or English or mixed? Like, we have lots of Hindi people over here.
Oh my God, that's a good punishment for me now. I'll try my level best, but हिंदी में बात करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है, लेकिन
It's
हाँ,
okay.
ट्राई करूंगी
50-50 is fine
okay,
for us.
try करूंगी, okay. Let me see, but that flow will be, a little slow. Okay. Anyways, we are going to talk about teens today, right? So what exactly comes to your mind when I talk about a teenager? When I tell the word teenager, what comes to your mind? Are all these pictures there in your mind? When I tell about a teenager, be very active
A
in your
growing
chat.
kid.
Okay. When I say something, usually what happens is when we talk about the word teenage, usually what comes to our mind? Something very aggressive, right?
Teenage means मस्ती, हाँ, और अपने हिसाब से सब कुछ करने वाला, है ना?
Innocent.
अपने आप को थोड़ा सा समझदार समझने वाला कि अब हम समझदार हो गए हैं, हम कर सकते हैं
थोड़ा
ऐसा
बड़ा
कुछ।
हो गए भी, हाँ, मैं बड़ा हूँ, हाँ,
ना तो वो बचपन वाले समझते अपने आप को,
मैं
लेकिन
छोटा
बड़ा
नहीं हूँ।
समझते, लेकिन वो बड़े हुए नहीं।
Yes. Great. So that's there. Well, that is something we all understand. This is something that we have, na? Aggressive thought, body gussa, or that weird want. Sometimes they come and ask some things. They demand for certain things, and I feel, Arey, you are grown up, yeah. Now you're asking for all these things. What is it? You're seeing the nose this side or this side, or where ears and eyebrows and all that stuff, all that they want something which is weird, which we don't even think of. My daughter is doing this. Oh my god, I never thought of. You will be like this. I would we have given you so much of sanskar, yeah, culture, all that things. Where are you? Right? This is something that we have. We think of teenagers and all that things, right? And their peers, their families are all different. They don't want family anymore. They want all friends to be there.
Exactly.
Right?
See, she's speaking.
So friends are more important in their lives rather than these things, right? So their family, cultures, their puja part and all that they don't want. Their prayers, no, no, no. They're all outdated, outdated. Mama, new generation, we are all new generation. This is what people talk about. When we think about teens, only all these pictures come to our mind. And they are all in the negative form. If I think about, if I'm not wrong, can you think that all these images that are popping up in the mind when we think about teenager are mostly negative, right? Because media or all other sources have depicted, teens to be like that. जब भी हम सोचते हैं टीन के बारे में, what happens is we only think about negative topics or negative thoughts and images. What comes to our mind, right? Most of them are having these things. Now we don't even consider the other side of the teenager, and the teenager as an identity. उसका भी एक identity होता है ना. We never think of that. What do we think? We only think about our own way of perceptions, our own way of, our thinking, our thoughts are more important for us because we have passed that particular age. Now we have to know what exactly is these things. So in this topic today, in just within 45 to 1 hour session, we're going to talk about why teens are behaving all these ways as we can see right now, and those 5 psychological needs that teenagers should have. Okay, psychological needs, intellectually, how that, what should be actually we have to treat. What is that the psychological need that the child wants and we are not able to give it, and how can you deal? So this is all about today's topic. Okay, inshallah, I'm going to talk about that. So can I introduce myself with your permission?
Please.
Okay, great. Thank you. So myself, Kaneez Fathima, I'm from Mangalore, Karnataka. Okay, I'm a lecturer for more than a decade. I was a lecturer for more than a decade, turned teen parent relationship coach. So right now I'm dealing with teenagers and their parents to bring intimacy in their relationship, because this is something that most parents are not having these days, either because of lack of patience or because of teenagers and their issues. So there are two things there. Okay, but anyways, whatever happens, ultimately relationship is something that is causing a lot of problem. We are also conducting so many workshops based on all these matters to see to it that your relationship is also secure. And that's why I am here, and with that same intention of having a clarity about relationship, why you need all these things. If you understand the person as a person, then you don't need to have anybody around you, anyone to coach you, anyone to help you. But the only thing is we need to have little bit of knowledge, just 20% of little knowledge, and implement that, you'll get 80% of results. That's it. So my intention is only that, to help you get better relationship with that bonding, better bonding with your teen children. How many of you have teenagers at home now? How many of you have teenager? One. Okay, put it in the chat box, please. How many of you have? Write me in the chat box. Okay. The CIS. Okay, great. Great. You can send it to everybody, dear. Please, like you did not directly message me, because when you message me, what happens is the chat I'll have to send again reply to only one person, and again and again I'll have to change that chat to everybody. So kindly see to it that you chat in everybody. Like all are having these things. Huh? Yes, there are many who have joined here and having that same intention. Oh, all 12 years, 12 years. So you're getting ready once my child is getting 13, so that I will be upgraded with all that. Wow, that's really nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so that's all about our things now. Now, when we talk about our teen behavior, what is a behavior, common behavior that you can see in a teenager? Can anybody tell me here, whatever is seen apart from these things? Can you see something else that you can find about a teenage behavior? What is the common behavior that you have? What you can see in the picture, what you can read here? Okay, mobile. Okay.
Impatient,
Impatient, yes.
impatient, not
Yes,
listening
they
at
don't
all.
listen. They're not respectful. They're lazy. They don't do their work. They are irresponsible. They are messy, right? They don't
Yes,
even take
yes,
care of
correct.
their rooms. How dirty the room is. They're not bothered about it, right? Yes, all these things. I understand. Arguments every time. Yes. Great. So all of you have these things of problems with this. Just tell me one thing. When the child was 4 years old, I'm just asking you, when the child was 4 years old, when the child was 8 years old, and when the child was 12 years old, how different I was as a mother. You need to introspect now. You need to think about it. जब मेरा बच्चा छोटा था, almost 4 years का था, 4 साल का बेटा, जब वो 12 years का हो गया और जब वो 14 years का हो गया, now what is the difference that I have as a mother? Did you ever think of it?
Nothing.
Nothing. No.
हमारा
A
बिहेवियर सेम ही
lot of
होता है.
difference. A lot of difference.
Lot of
हमारा
difference.
बिहेवियर
How many
सेम
of
ही
you
होता है
agree?
लेकिन.
Yes, tell me how many of you agree with you have really lot of difference when you had that parenting styles are different. How many of you agree with that?
No.
4 साल का बेटा जब भी रोता था, कुछ भी अगर उसे कुछ चाहिए तो मैं देती थी उसे. I was saying, okay, यार, go. You want this? Okay, go. You want a ball? Okay, I'll get it to you. Now go. Now move. Okay, it's fine. You want that? Okay. We were adapting all that styles. We were also changing so many times for a teenager. I mean, sorry, when my 4-year-old child was crying for something, was craving for something. Arey yaar, what tantrums? It's all right now. Give it to him, whatever it is. But the same kind of request when a 16-year-old child is doing. Pagal ho kya? What do you think of yourself now? Is this the time that you're asking? You're grown up. How many of you agree with me? Is this true? Did we ever
No,
think
not
of
true.
Yes.
somewhere in the subconscious mind we
Yes,
have
yes,
all,
it's
and
true.
we are somewhere changing this, and we are so adaptive when the child was young, but when the child is growing, seriously, we have done a lot of things, lot of changes, and when it comes to a 16-year, 14-year, or 18-year child, and he's asking something, we don't care for it. You think you're grown up. You're not a small child. Why do you think of all these things now? Why are you asking like a kid? Okay, so this is our perception. The more, actually, I can tell you, the studies say that when the child is starting to reasoning and more thinking of all that and asking more questions, our patience, our tolerance is getting lower and lower and lower. Reasoning power of the child is getting higher, and my tolerance power is getting lower. What kind of question you're asking? Huh? How dare you ask me that question? When does that come? When the child is asking a question. Mama, even you did that last time. You're not supposed to do it now. The child is asking. So what do we say? And we give and tell. How dare you tell that? Stop it. Okay, this is for a 10-year-old child. A 10-year-old child, you tell that. Why? Because you know that this particular person will come and ask and again create a scene, or I will be getting guilty later on. So there are two things there. We are very over possessive when the child is very young. We are thinking that, okay, I can do anything for my child, and you do what? Lot many things. You change yourself without even knowing. You don't know that you have changed a lot. But as and when the child grows, that freedom is given less. Lesser freedom is given, lesser choice is given. If you understand properly, somewhere we are trying to not give them that particular additional, that attention that the child needs when the child is growing. Usually what happens is we don't talk to our children much. How many of you really have the habit of talking to children? How many of you have that habit? Talking to children? No one? Just talking, just talking. Today, let us have a talk. Any mealtime talk or just before sleeping, bedtime talks? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes, Rochna, very nice. So what kind of topics we have, Anju? What happens is usually we talk about, I keep any one topic ready for meals today. During meals today, I'm going to have this particular conversation. I'm going to open up with this particular communication and have a talk. That's how I do. And I start to talk. Even my 5-year-old, about to be 5 now, daughter will be there. My 13-year-old also will be there. And also my second son, that is almost 7, getting into 8. 8 years almost, he is getting within 3 days. So these 3 children are together. And what I do, I see to it that open conversation is there. When we talk more and more, what happens?
Yes, ma'am.
Our children are able to understand each other very well. What is my concept? What is my perception? What is my understanding? All that things, even their understanding, we are able to understand. The behavioral issues are actually only 10% that we can see outside. It's like an iceberg, only 10% of behavior. So what you can see, mobile or whatever you said, that the child is very arrogant, the child is not listening, the child is not respecting, the child is not bothered about the family members, the child is very messy, lazy. These are all the behavioral pattern, but 90% of that particular reason why it is doing that, it is somewhere deep inside the child's mind, which we don't know. But why is he doing this? We will learn now. Okay? Why the child is doing all these things. There is something called hormonal changes that takes place. You must be knowing about all that things. No? Teenage, all we know that. But dopamine is something that is a kind of hormone which is there, which is secreted in the brain whenever the child feels happy. Whenever the child is feeling happy, now the mobile is there with him. He is feeling happy, the dopamine is very high. Okay, the dopamine is high. Now you snatch that mobile. Hey, enough. Give me that mobile. Now what happens? Suddenly the dopamine is lowered. Fluctuation. You see that graph now. Imagine of the graph. Once it is high, again it is coming lower. Now it is getting addicted. Yes, it is like a drug. It is addiction. But the thing is, what actually we need to do, we are not doing it. That is the main reason child is addicted to all these things. Oxytocin is again a kind of a hormone which is there in the child's body, especially a teenager. Okay, especially teenagers. What happens is, this is a hormone which is always telling us that this is my factor, mine, my family, my father, my mother. Dare not talk anything about my mother. Don't talk anything about my father. At that particular time, this oxytocin is something that tells us, okay, your father, your mother. My time, who are you to ask? My exam, na? My life. Who are you to ask, mama? My factor, because this oxytocin is telling. Now, dopamine and oxytocin both are very high in a teenager. Always remember that. So these things, when they are always there, very high, what happens is we snatch.
Can you repeat, please? Can you
Which
repeat,
one?
please?
Yeah, this dopamine
Yeah,
and
since
oxytocin.
yeah.
See, dopamine is something that is secreted, both are secreted in the body. But what happens is dopamine is something that comes out, when you're very happy. It is there in all of us. Okay, now I also have dopamine in me when I see my best friend. Imagine I see my best friend after a long time and I just go and hug her. My dopamine is very high. Okay. And after that, it'll come down when I'm talking to her. And then, once we depart also, yes, okay, slowly, gradually, dopamine is coming down. And then when I call her once again, maybe sometimes, it gets upper and all that stuff will be there. But then what happens to a child when your dopamine is very high when he is getting the mobile and you snatch that mobile, again, the dopamine is coming lower. It becomes low. Suddenly, instead, when we do something else, when we give them something else in advance, or we tell them, see, when he is watching a movie or when he's using that mobile, we are sitting and painting, or I'm sitting and reading some books, and maybe I'm laughing very loudly, saying, "What joke I had! Very nice book. This is I'm talking to myself. I'm reading very loudly, or sometimes I'm reading and just laughing, reading and laughing. The child is curiously coming and saying, "What happened, Mama? What is it?" So I say, "No, I'm reading a book. It's all right. No, nothing. You can watch that, no problem. I'm just reading a book. It's a very interesting book." Now what happens? The child is curious. Mama is laughing like this also. I'll also read. Or will you tell me? Yeah, yeah, come. No problem, come. Now what happens? Dopamine is very slowly getting lowered and he's interested in another task. Got it? He's slowly getting into another task. Now the dopamine is again getting higher and higher and higher, and slowly, we are, this is what we need to do. Very simple things. You don't have to do anything more than all this, in just tricks and trial. Of course, it may not be working with everybody, but it is working with me. By God's grace, right now I'm doing the same thing, and all my children are very much happy whenever I sit. Sometimes, Mama, today what is it? Today what is it? They come and ask. So I weekly or maybe fortnightly I go to library, get some books, and I ask them also, "Will you read this book today? What is your choice? Go and read that. Take that book and come home." So in that way, we just go and have that things session. We do all that things now. So the thing is, some setup has to be done. What about oxytocin? Oxytocin is again something that is related to me factor. My family, my daughter, my son, all these things are coming up only because of oxytocin. Now, unfortunately, in that my category, parents will not be found. Parents are not there. Why? They want family members, they want their peers to be there or their friends to be there. Friends are more important. My life, Mama, my exams, my friends. Why are you talking all that? So what happens now? The child is feeling very low when you talk about his friends in a negative form, because oxytocin is very high. Okay, oxytocin is very high. And this is a kind of a brain setup, like a reptile brain. What happens is there are 3 F's which are related to this particular brain. 3F. So what happens is either they freeze whenever anything they feel like a threat, they freeze, or sometimes they fight, or they flee away. That is, they run away from that place. So these 3 things are very common in a brain, a reptilian brain. But all these 3 things, only one thing is found in a teenager's brain. That is fight. They don't freeze. Okay. Now imagine I see a snake suddenly. This is freezing. Got it? This is freezing. But what happens is, if I see a dog and I run away, that is fleeing away from that place. I don't want to be there. Fighting, if it is a child, teenager, I'll see what happens. Monica, could you please mute yourself? So this is what is happening. Teenager, hey, nothing is going to happen. I'll see. If he is coming to fight, even I'll come. What is it? Yes. So this is that spirit that they have when the child is a teenager, because that hormones are so high there. It is so powerful. They are not having any risk. They can take any amount of risk at that particular time. That's why, any keys, I'm very scared to keep my two-wheeler key anywhere. I keep it only in my pocket. Anytime he gets, he may take it and go. Risk factor for them, all that things are not responsible. They can do it anytime, anywhere, no problem at all. That's how they do. That is the reason I'm telling you. You have to understand the whys behind it, and then everything becomes very simple. Okay, so this is what we have. I just want to tell you the 5 simple psychological needs that the child wants. What does the child need? I mean, what does the child need every time? You have to understand this. The very first thing I should tell you, that the child is very sensitive. बहुत ही sensitive होता है. How many of you agree that teenagers are sensitive? How many of you agree? Most of my parents are not agreeing to this. I said, if you don't agree, go into the time where you were a teenager and think about that particular day when you were a teenager and somebody tells bad about you. What has happened to you? It is 100% proved that the child is sensitive during his teenagers. Right? Agreed? All acknowledge? How many of you agree? Yes.
Agree.
How many of you agree? Great. That's wonderful. That's what we need. The very first thing, imagine the 4-year-old. I told you about a 4-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 13-year-old child. Okay, now imagine these 3 children are there with you. So I have almost the same age groups of children. That's why I have used that. Imagine the 4-year-old is crying and the 13-year-old is hitting for some reason. We don't know who is right and who is wrong. We are not a referee here. Okay, we are not an umpire. But what happens is, whom do we take responsible and whom do we really shout at? Imagine the situation. A 13-year-old child is hitting the 4-year-old. Maybe some reason. We don't care about the reason now. Okay.
13-year child will get shouted.
All of them. Most of them are going to take the charge and they are going to see what is happening with the 13-year-old child. Why are you doing this? Are you a child? Why are you doing this? Are you a child? Don't you know how to deal with children?
Same reaction होता है ये वाला.
Same reaction. I'm sure all of us have. Why is that? Actually, the child who is 13-year-old needs more of our attention and more of our concern. We hardly give that at that time. Always remember something that, it is absorbing a lot at that particular point, it is absorbing time. They absorb a lot. If it is negative things, they absorb negative things. It is positive things, they are exactly, absorbing positive things. So it is all up to us what kind of influence we are going to give them. Very important. So 4-year-old is getting a better margin, whereas 8-year-old is also getting little higher margin. But a 13-year-old child is not given any choice, no margin at all. So the psychological need of a 4-year-old child is completely different, and 8-year-old child is different, 13-year-old child is different. But a 13-year-old child is very sensitive. The way you talk matters a lot. So when the child in a very small child is showing tantrums and hitting and crying, and however he will make whatever he wants, he will be getting it. But a 13-year-old child, if he cries also, You hit him back. Right? You hit him back. That is the main reason. Now we have to understand that this really causes a lot of trouble in the child. This is causing a lot of trouble in the child. The second thing what we have is बच्चे से बात करना और बच्चे की बात करना. You have two different things here. बच्चे से बात करना is talking to children, right? Talking to children. That is, they need to have you with them. Some kind of freedom should be there. Some kind of, confidentiality should be there about children. But we are not having that confidentiality about our children. What do we talk about? Usually, when I go to any school or some parental sessions, sometimes I don't know. In some schools, they have parents and students also together, and they call me, which I don't agree. I cannot talk to a parent and the child at the same time. How can I talk? Parents are complaining about their children. हाँ मेरा बच्चा तो ऐसा है. हाँ, he's maybe he's very brilliant, but at the same time he does this. So the child is understanding all that. He keeps repeating. No, things are like the child is feeling. Oh, everybody came to know about. That confidentiality is not there. Maintaining secret should be there. To understand the child's needs. This is something that is very, very important. Imagine when I was young, when we were, Amreen, kindly mute yourself, please. So especially when, when we were young, imagine our teachers or our parents used to yell at us in front of everybody. How would we feel? We have forgotten all of that, and we are again using that same old pattern what our parents have used to raise our own children. How many of you agree? Right? This is something that is happening right now. Two things, that is, बच्चे से बात करना. Talk to your children a lot, but don't talk about your child. Don't talk about your child in his presence, especially when he is present there. Don't talk at all, even if it is with your spouse. Don't talk. If it is with your husband, don't talk. Tell it somewhere in secret. He has done this, but I have told this. Now this is all confidential matter. We will see to it that somehow we will fix it. Even in front of the siblings, brothers, sisters, a child has got 2-3 children along with them, and cousins are also there, and joint family. If it is there, don't go to talk about the child with anybody. It is hurting a lot. What happens is that his self-image is getting lowered. Confidence is again getting lowered. He's not able to talk in front of people. He feels very bad. I'll tell you one small incident that has happened with one of my clients there. There was a client who was a young man who was very good in his academics. Very young boy, very good in academics. He was getting, most of the time, he was getting very good results. And it so happened that he was not having successful career after that. And after having some sessions with me, he was able to understand that somewhere I could figure out that something is there in him which is bothering him. And I realized that it was his father. He had a father. I mean, his father was not there anymore. He had passed away. Father expired. But his father had told one line to another person. And he had overheard this conversation. He had heard what his father was talking. And the father said that, Mera bacha to kabhi successful nahi hoga. Look at the jumla, or what you call it, the sentence that he had told. Mera bacha kabhi successful nahi hoga. That was like a curse. Imagine, that was like a curse. So the child has taken that as cursing. The child has perceived it as a curse. And he said, I can never be successful because my father had cursed me. I'll never be successful. And he is gone now. And I had to deal with that to overcome all that worries that he had. And it took long time. So when we talk about it, see, we have to understand one thing. Children hear less, but they overhear more. What do you mean by this? They don't listen to us, of course. But when we are talking to others about the child, he will come and hear and he'll say, okay, you told about this. You told about me, all these things to him, to her, that auntie. You were talking about all that. I could hear you. Overhearing is very common there, but they don't listen to us. Okay. So these are the seekers, the psychological need that the child has. We have to identify that. The third thing is most of us they don't allow our children to do that, any kind of a mistake or do things by themselves. They don't try to do it. Children, whenever they try to do some things, what we say, what do you do? See, take that paper, you stick something, you have to stick like this only, and then place another one. Don't go to have any trial and error now. So wiring and all that, you have to do small circuit and all. If they have to do, you have to do this way, and then clear. Don't go to do anything by yourself. Watch that video and do this. Don't go to have anything. Don't go to try by yourself. Or any kind of activity which is done, we are not allowing them to do it by themselves. Committing mistakes, learning from that mistake is something that they have to learn by themselves. This is a psychological need. Psychological need. This brings them confidence actually. But what happens is we are not giving all that. Learning by themselves is something that they want. Learning everything by themselves, and that brings confidence. For example, I'll tell you about my own case. What has happened? My son was into friendship with somebody whom I used to not like him. Okay, so he had a very close intimate relationship. I mean, very very closely he was connected with a boy who was I didn't like that boy. And it so happened that the child, I was not able to even stop that child. I couldn't stop that child. I didn't say personally that you have to stop talking to him. You know why? When I say you have to stop talking, I'm forcing my child. I'm forcing my child to choose a friend. Now what happens is, if I ask him to forcefully do that, the child will, of course, he will listen to me, of course. Anamika, would you please mute yourself? Thank you. So what happens is he will be forced not to talk. Okay, he will be forcefully. I'm not allowing him to talk. But when I'm not there, what happens? If I'm not there, he would go there. Secretly, they would meet and do something. This was really embarrassing, and I didn't want that to happen. So what I did was, I personally only asked him, "Do you think this fellow is good for you?" He said, "Yes, mama, he's very nice. People are thinking bad about him, but he is nice." Okay, no problem. You just take care of him, and if he needs any help, I'm there. You should see to it that he becomes all right and he leaves all that bad behavior, what he has. You have to change him. Okay, you become that main source and help him how to come out of all that fear and all that problem that he has right now. He's a very mischievous boy, you know that. But you have to correct him. If you need any help, I'm there with you. Okay, mama, he said, and he left. But after a few times, what happens is wherever he went, along with this boy, my son was also branded with some names. That is okay. This boy is like this because the boy is with him. So all the time, wherever the boy went, he was being belittled, or sometimes he was being told something bad about himself, and my son was getting frustrated. And this boy was also not stopping his mischievous deeds. After that, he said, "Mama, I don't like him anymore because my society is thinking ill about me now. I'm not that kind of a child." But children feel that, right? When he's a teenager, he could feel that. And he said, "I'm not going to talk anymore." I said, "No, no problem. It's up to you. But in case you need any help, I'm there." Now what happens? The child, he is himself trying to think over it, and the same thing, he's again and again thinking about that problem and trying to solve it. And he's not able to solve, then he says, "Okay, no, I don't want that friend anymore." Okay, This is something that has happened. So give them a chance, let them do that mistake, but you are there with them. Tell them, I'm there with you. Anything happens, no problem. But see to it that you are on the safer side, and see that whatever we have shown you, whatever culture I have shown you or given to you, see that you don't cross that limit. Now, what happens? A child has to think logically what has to be done, what people are thinking about him, what others are doing. All that things matter a lot because they are very, very, they are focusing on the self, inner self. Okay, teenagers always have that, they are conscious about their own self, their beauty, their body, and all that things. You know about all that, right? They are very conscious about that. So when people are telling ill about them, they also feel that they don't want to have such talks. That's the reason they don't want all that to be there. They just ignore that friend also. They say, I don't want anymore. That's how they get that maturity to take decisions, to understand the concepts easily. The fourth point is to be heard. They want people to hear them, listen to them. I always tell this in most of my videos also, that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Almighty has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Why? Anybody?
सुनो ज्यादा बोलो कम.
Yes, exactly. That's what we have to do. But what do? We hardly
बोलते
listen.
ज्यादा है.
We've got only 1 mouth and we talk so much. Had it been 2 mouths, I don't know who will have to come and shut our mouth. That is a thing that has happened now. We are not listeners. Who is the best communicator? The best communicator on stage is the best listener off stage. Understand that. Who is the best communicator? I want to repeat. The best communicator on stage is the best listener off stage. So on the stage, when you are on the stage, if you want people to listen to you, rest of the time you have to be what? You have to keep listening to others. Okay, that's it. You have to keep listening. That's the main reason we are failing here in our parenting. Most of us are failing because we are not. Smrit, I'm trying to mute you, Smrit. Okay, yes. So we are not good listeners. They want only to listen. And even if we listen, what do? We again come and tell something very bad. Oh, you did this, now why did you do that? Child is coming and telling something, and we are again giving them advice, which a teenager never wants. Teenage doesn't want advice, they want suggestions. Now we have to understand whether we are giving suggestions or advice. Advice we don't want, children don't want. Give advices in the form of a suggestion. Can I suggest you one thing? What if you do this? Ask a question. Your suggestion should be like a form of question. What do you think doing this? No, mama, if I do that, then he'll do this only. I know that. Okay. Then you think over it and then let's see what happens. Within 2 days, again, he may come up with some other idea. 2, 3 ideas. It's all right. All of a sudden, you can't get all that mixture and, ready-made answers, of course. You won't get that. All you need to do is have some trial. Okay, come out of that slowly and listen to them, understand them, and make them take decisions on their own. So all these 3 things, we can cover only when we listen to each other. And last one point that we have is show them respect. Respecting is something that tell them that they are grown up. Make them feel that, yes, I'm grown up now. The child is feeling, yes, I think, yeah. So the child should feel that respect. Now just tell me, imagine you have a small child right in front of you whom you don't know. Okay, whom you don't know. You have seen for the first time. and you want to talk to him. Just a moment. Yeah, you want to talk to him. How do you talk? Come here. What's your name? Which school? How many of you do this? No, nobody. We ask a child a question. How do we ask? Hey, come here. What's your name? Right. But the same thing when you call, when you talk to an elder person. Now, if I'm talking to Shweta, I would not call, hey Shweta, how are you? Or I would not tell suddenly. I would not come and tell, Saroj, I want to talk to you. Where are you from? So I would say myself, Kaneez, ma'am. I would like to connect. May I know what's your name? Is that not respect? But how do we show respect to that young child? So that, by default, somewhere we feel that, okay, it's okay to talk to children like that. It's okay. They don't feel. That's not the way. We are again teaching them something different. When we talk to them in that way, that it's all right, that you can talk in that way also, no matter what, you can talk to children like that. That's how we are training them. Got it? This is very important. So giving them that full respect is again very, very important. Next comes the freedom. The last point is about the freedom that I have talked, which is again, one of the psychological needs. Here, what happens is the child should feel that he is grown up. Please check your phone. Like, what happened? I didn't turn on my WhatsApp right now. Any problem with the phone? What happened? I didn't get it. Anju?
नो मैम, आपका फोन नहीं है एक्चुअली। कोई पूछ रही है कि आवाज आ रही है क्या? मैंने कहा आवाज आ रही है, आप अपना फोन चेक कीजिए। आप ठीक है, आप ठीक है।
Okay. It's fine. That's fine. Okay. I thought I had to check my. Okay. So now this is something that I have to talk. Now, freedom is something which most of the parents are not giving, because here what they feel is talking to an adult is something that they want, as if you're talking to an adult. Now, if I tell bacheo, or you are still young, or you're too young to understand all that, the child feels very furious. Why? I'm grown up, yeah. How dare she calls me like that? What happened now? And it's not about parents, even teachers, parents, anybody who calls that the child is young enough or he's too small, is not able to understand, you cannot bear that. The child cannot bear it. He feels very, very low. And now, to show that I'm grown up, what he does? He'll push you, he'll hit you, he'll bang the door, or he'll spank somebody, his siblings, or sometimes he smokes to show that I am grown up. He's giving back answers. You know why? I can also talk. You know that? This is all because of the hormone that is taking place here. I hope you're able to understand all those things. Why the child needs all that, and when we don't give it, how many of you consult your children, 13-year-old child, with your business or your family matters or anything? You manage the money for 13-year-old. This is something that we have to do. Ask him, consult them, what can be done, why you need to do and all that. This is very, very important. So frequent consultation about business, about family, about what things you want to buy, or how I want to plan your house, interior, or whatever it is, what you want to do, what kind of paint, what kind of color, what kind of combination you want to have. If you are able to afford, then what else you can do. If you're not able to do this, then what else can be planned? All that alternatives, we need to sit and plan and make them feel that yes, I am grown up and my parents are, seeking my advice or seeking my suggestions. Only then that bonding is there. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So these are all those 5 qualities that we all have to deal with it. So the first thing what parents have to do is the adaptability. Adapt the child as a child. Accept the child as a child. Understand that these are all because of the emotional eruptions that are taking place, the hormones that are changing every now and then. That's the reason. And treat them like adults. All the time, make them feel that you are adult and it's okay to commit mistakes. And see, a child is still a child for us, of course, and the child is not yet grown up. We should know that. We should know that the child up to the age of 24, the brain is not developed yet. Up to the age of 24, the child's brain is not developed. So it is yet developing on, it's just growing and growing. So, but treat them like an adult and tell them that, yes, I know, I understand. You feel all that because now you're grown up now. So it's all right. It's common. It's all right. So what else can be done? What can we do? So all these things, try to ask them and then at least follow certain things what they are telling. Yes, I agree. Acknowledge that. Tell them, yes, whatever you said is true. I can also see, or I can also do that. I can implement it. We can follow these things. Yes, come on, that's a very good idea. We can do that. Or you can consult your spouse also, call your husband also, and tell them, see, this is something that you can do. Let them learn by themselves. Very, very important. Let them learn. These days, children are not able to. Most of them are not able to take their own decisions carefully even after their marriage. You know that even after their marriage they are not able to take decisions because they don't know to learn by themselves. Everything was ready made, given, just like 2 minutes like instant noodles, I can say. All that within 2 minutes, tap tap, done. And they are expecting 2 minutes results also in everything, which cannot happen. Okay, so this is very important for us. Treat them respectfully or respect them in all matters. You have to accept them as an identity. So accept them as an identity and see to it that you can make your level best to respect the child's identity, self-image, and self-confidence, which is very, very important. Most of them are lacking self-confidence, and because of that they are losing their grades also, and also they are not able to cope up with other challenges in life. It's all because of these matters. Now it is high time for us to give them that respect and make them feel that yes, as an identity, you are my level best. I can try my level best to make you as as confident and as self reliant as possible. It's very important. So let them fall off, let them make mistakes, and then come up with their own ways of accepting the challenges and growing like that. It's all right, but respect them for what they are doing. That's very important. Okay. So how many of you were able to have some bulb on moments? So these are some of the, I think I'll be sharing the link here. These are some of the recommendations that I have for you in case you need these products. You can book them online, which I think Isha has got. Sorry, the link here. I'm not very sure where is the link. Can you share that, ma'am? I'm somewhere not able to get that link now.
Yes, Kaneez ma'am, we will share in the group, and they all know about the Palak notes things.
Yeah.
So everyone, you have you know, everyone, the supplements about Palak of kids and toddlers, so you can buy for your children's too.
Yeah. Would you like to share the link here, ma'am?
Yeah, I will do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Sure, Anju. Tell me. What do you want to ask? You can unmute yourself.
कनीज मैम, मैं अपने बेटे के बारे में कुछ पूछना चाहती हूँ आपसे। अभी इसका ना फर्स्ट ईयर में हुआ है, चेन्नई में गया हुआ है वो SRM कॉलेज में। तो उसी का चॉइस था। हम लोग तो दिल्ली में जा रहे थे, लेकिन वो उसी का चॉइस था कि मैं वहीं जाऊंगा। सारा कुछ उसने पता किया कि अच्छा है। अब क्या है कि उसका वहाँ पे बिल्कुल भी मन नहीं लग रहा। एक्चुअली एक तो वहाँ का एनवायरनमेंट, फिर कुछ उसका खाना पीना, और दूसरा उसका जो दोस्त है, आप बता रहे थे जैसे आपके बेटे का दोस्त, ऐसा ही उसका एक फ्रेंड है स्कूल टाइम से ही। तो लेकिन उसकी अब उसके जो वार्डन सर हैं, उनका फोन आया कि आपका बेटा तो बिल्कुल सही है, लेकिन जो उसका जो फ्रेंड है वो डेंजरस है। हमने पूछा कैसे? बोले वो ड्रिंक, स्मोकिंग, गर्ल्स, मतलब सब कुछ कर रहा है। तो कैसे हम उसको, मतलब क्योंकि हम उसको कहते हैं ना बेटा थोड़ा ध्यान रखो, तो बोलता है नहीं वो तो सही है, वो तो सही है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
हाँ।
तो उसको किस तरह से मैं उसको थोड़ा सा निकालने की कोशिश करूं, क्योंकि मैं फिर उसको फोर्स नहीं करती। ठीक है, क्या कर सकती, क्योंकि बचपन से फ्रेंड है ना वो।
Yes, so very good question, Anju. What happens is you have to again keep on asking, what do you feel when you are with his company or in his company? Now, what happens? The people will be judging you, or they think something about you, and would you feel something bad when people are talking all these things about you? How would you feel? So he may say, "No, I don't care, no problem." Okay, you don't have any problem. It's all right. You just be there, calm. Okay, and then gradually you will have to ask few more questions, maybe about your society or the impact that it gives to your studies, how it is impacting your studies now after 10 years. Imagine after 10 years, now when you have been placed in one of the multinational company, or you want to be somewhere in the job, or you want to have your own business, and at that particular point of time, if this particular person is a hurdle for your business or hurdle for your life or your family, how would it feel? Ask him to think 10 years down the line, maybe 10 years after this, what is going to happen. Let him think of that, his career. You will have your own family, you will have a wife, children, and all that stuff at that particular time. And would it be good that this particular friend of yours will be there all the time? Or what if you can choose somebody who is going to help you with your business, who's going to help you a lot with your career, or something that can always, bring some kind of motivation for you? Which one do you feel is better? So now he was thinking only of your level, very, very limited level. Now let him imagine about something which is beyond that, 10 years, 15 years later, what is going to happen? Let him think about that.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू सो मच। एंड वन मोर क्वेश्चन मैम, एक्चुअली उसने कभी गर्लफ्रेंड बनाई नहीं है, तो अभी वो क्या है, थोड़ा इस चीज में हेजिटेट है। लेकिन कुछ गर्ल्स उसको फोर्स करती है, तो वो मुझसे पूछता है कि मैं क्या करूं मम्मी, मैं क्या करूं, मैं मम्मी, मेरे पास कोई आंसर नहीं है इस चीज का कि मैं क्या कहूं उसे।
See, getting attraction to opposite gender is something very common in teenage because of the hormonal changes, because their sexual organs are also, their body parts are they are growing, and that's the
एक्चुअली मैम
reason.
उसके दिमाग में ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि वो ना हमेशा स्पोर्ट्स स्टार रहा है, तो उसका ध्यान स्पोर्ट्स में है।
I understand. It's all because of the
चारों
external
तरफ,
influence.
हाँ, उसकी चारों तरफ सभी फ्रेंड्स की हैं, तो उसको फोर्स करते हैं कि तुम भी, तो उसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि मैं क्या करूं।
So
जवाब दूं क्या?
just ask him, do you really need any friend like this? Or is it more than enough if you have any one friend whom you can survive with, to have a better sports, or and by the time you really need a girl, we will be there to help you out. If that's okay, then you go ahead. Don't care about what people are talking. There are so many who didn't have girlfriends also. There are so many who they didn't have any problem.
Okay, thank you
So
so much.
having girlfriend, boyfriend is not going to affect you in all these things. Whenever you have chance to live that life, you will get it. Don't worry.
Okay, ठीक है. Thank you so much, ma'am.
My pleasure. Any other question?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Manju this side, ma'am.
Manju. Yes, tell me, Manju.
Yeah, ma'am, मेरा बेटा है 12 years का. Right now he is in a 6th class. But वो एक्टिंग में बहुत अच्छा है. मीन्स वो स्कूल के जितना भी ड्रामास होते हैं उसमें पार्टिसिपेट करता है. बिफोर कोविड तो वो उसमें मतलब सब उसको प्रिंसिपल मैम तक सब अप्रिशिएट करते हैं. तो अभी 3rd स्टैंडर्ड तक जब तक कोविड था, वो 3rd में था, तो दैट टाइम ही वाज वेरी एक्सीलेंट इन स्टडीज. बट आफ्टर कोविड फोन में तो सब बच्चे इन्वॉल्व हुए हैं, वो भी हुआ है इन्वॉल्व, बट उसका ग्रेड बहुत डाउन आ गया. डाउन इन सेंस कि अभी उसके फेल मार्क्स आने लगे हैं. जैसे पहले वो 20 में से 18 19 लाता था. मैं नंबर्स के लिए कभी फोर्स नहीं करती हूँ उसको, बट अभी वो ऐसे आ गया कि बिल्कुल ग्रेट मार्क्स पे आ गया है. वो स्टडी करना चाहता है बट उसका माइंड नहीं लगता. एंड ही सेड के मेरे को तो एक्टर बनना है. एंड मतलब हम लोग तो मैं इसको बोलती हूँ एक्टर बनना है, मैं तेरे को ड्रामा में भी ले जाऊंगी और तेरे को एनएसजी में ज्वाइन कराऊंगी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट तू अपनी स्टडी में फोकस कर. तो बट एक्टर को वो उसको ऐसा फील होता है, मतलब अभी वो टीन एज में जा ही रहा है लिटरली, पर उसके माइंड में चल रहा है मुझे तो बॉम्बे जाके एक्टर बनना है. मीन्स मुझे है तुझे एक्टिंग करना है, स्कूल लेवल पे अच्छी करो, ड्रामा सीखना है, मैं वहां ले जाऊंगी, बट उसके माइंड में उसको स्टडी नहीं करनी है. उसको तो बॉम्बे जाके, मेरे 1-2 कजन्स हैं या उसके फादर के जो फ्रेंड के बच्चे हैं वो कुछ एक पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, दे आर सक्सेसफुल देयर. बट हम चाहते तो नहीं है कि वो इस लाइन में जाए, वो स्टडी करे, बट वो कहता है मुझे तो मतलब वो मुझे प्रिटेंड करता है मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, बट अंदर से उसका माइंड कहता है मुझे पढ़ना तो नहीं है, मुझे एक्टर बनना है. अब मैं उसके माइंड को कैसे ठीक करूं, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा. और क्योंकि उसको देख के उसका यंगर ब्रदर भी है, तो वो उसको कॉपी करता है सम टाइम. मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा, मैं हाइपर हो जाती हूँ. तो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैं अपने आप को कैसे टैकल करूं कि मैं उससे अच्छा बिहेव करूं.
First thing is you have to understand that you are a mother.
Yeah.
Much more older
जी.
than your child, right?
Yeah.
First thing. Second thing is have a belief system that your child wants to do something really very, he has a passion in, getting something in life. That's a very positive sign that he has, that he wants to achieve his goal. Third thing is, I had a client who was not able to write or read, and write his own spelling when he was in grade 8. Spellings he was not able to write, but he wanted to become a football player.
Okay.
He only said, I want to become a football player. What I told is, you want to become a football player, there are so many rules and regulations that will be told and you have to sign it.
Yes.
There are international players. You need to talk to them. Without going to school, without learning all these, you will not be able to talk. So from grade 1 to grade 12, you are only learning how to talk, how to read all that, how to understand, how to play, how to act, everything.
Yes.
You have to learn everything there. It's a training center. You will be trained in all that matters. And then by the time you reach 12th, 13th, your graduation level, you will be all set. Your ground is all set, and you only need to do your acting there.
Yes.
Until then, all these actors you have to name a few actors, you have to get some research done.
Yeah, always he said that
No,
तापसी
your
पुन्नू,
kid, what is the research you need to do? It's all about how many have really, how many have excelled. Now, how Amir Khan or somebody, I don't know about Amir Khan's graduation level, but if he's really studied well or something like that, you can tell him how different people are when they are graduates and how different they are when they don't. So, literally, to be very frank, you need not learn to become all these things. Okay, studies doesn't matter after COVID. Even everything is gone. What I believe is, if your child is really interested in all these things, you can opt for some schools where they only teach all these streams together. Online, there are so many streams coming up now where studies are only for actors. From the very young age, studies for actors, learn along with all these things. So it's actually nowadays, this is a concept that is happening right now. Educational requirement is getting changed, and the perception of education is also getting changed now post COVID. But what happens is we cannot get implied to all that right now. We can't jump into that particular system right away and have that trial and error right now with our children. Of course, it's not secure also. But the thing is, you need to tell your child that it is mandatory to read or to talk to international people. Do you want to stick to only Mumbai, only Hindi? What kind of an actor you want to be?
no,
You will have to go and collect the awards, international awards also. You'll have to talk, you have to get that accent, how to speak, and for that you need to read some books,
he
right?
knows, he knows very well, and I know कि he act and means he gets very confident, and uski talk and English is good command. He has a good command on English too. That's why I know कि मुझे तो अब आता है और कुछ चाहिए नहीं, पर मैंने उसको इस तरह से काफी बताया कि देखो ये जो एक्ट्रेस हैं सब ये डिफरेंट डिफरेंट स्ट्रीम से आए हैं, कोई इंजीनियर है, कोई कुछ है, मीन्स दे हैव चॉइस टू कि अच्छा ये नहीं कर रहा तो ये कर रहा है, तो एटलीस्ट यू हैव टू चॉइस इन योर लाइफ कि अपने आप को सिक्योर रखो, वो भी करना वो भी कर लो. तो ही सेड दैट तापसी पन्नू मेरे स्कूल की है, तो अगला एक्टर अब ऋत्विक बजाज होगा.
Very nice. But the thing is, you just have to take his strengths, use that strength only, and then try to motivate in all these terms. Like now, if you can see any drama in the lesson, anywhere, try to make him enact that particular drama in front of you. And you take the help of the teacher also, and tell that make him somewhere, to enact it or perform it on the stage, and let him get that interest, to use both his curriculum also and his passion also, and come up with all that.
Okay, okay,
For
thank
that he needs some amalgamation of both. I can say his something that is not interested also, and something about his passion, and to create that interest, both should go hand in hand.
but being a parents, we feel very unsecure na in that particular
That's why
stream. That's why.
you have to make him sit and understand that. But at the same time, what I feel is, when you tell that you have to start now with the you can enact this particular uh, drama or this particular poem, you can enact it in the form of maybe a play or something in front of your children, or have a party at home. His friends are coming by, and you arrange for a party and make him create something out of his own lessons. And then this is how make people or make children understand about that concept in this form, and he is there to help you in such a way. You have to some innovative styles of learnings you have to start. Maybe what I find is he's not interested because there are so many other distractions. What are the reasons for his distraction? That also has to be understood. It's not just about being actor, I feel. Maybe there are some other things also which is causing him some kind of distraction here. Okay, not
Yes, I
only
can understand. We have in a joint family, there's some kind of there also. I can.
Mm. Yeah, some distraction must be there, and that has to be eliminated. Some we have to understand little deeper there also, and somewhere we have to associate his passion everywhere he goes. Associate his passion with that which he is not interested in, and then try to take a mid path and go ahead.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let-
It's a very, very nice one. Talk to you. Thank you.
My
It's
pleasure.
helpful.
Okay.
मैम एक क्वेश्चन मेरा भी है, मैं क्या पूछ सकती हूँ?
Yeah, I have another session at 5:45. It's all right. Just few things if I can mention. Okay, tell me, Shikha.
हाँ जी, मेरा बेटा 23 इयर्स का है, लेकिन बचपन से पता नहीं उसका बिहेवियर कुछ एबनॉर्मल सा मुझे फील हुआ उसका बिहेवियर, क्योंकि वो जैसे हम कुछ उसको बोलते थे तो वो मतलब वो काम नहीं करता था। पहले ही वो हाँ बोल देता था कि हाँ, जैसे ही हम कुछ काम बोलते कि हाँ, लेकिन वो करता नहीं था। मतलब या तो उसको लेट गो या एस्केप या कुछ फियर की कुछ टेंडेंसी थी बचपन से। मतलब मुझे पता लग गया था कि कुछ अजीब सा कुछ एबनॉर्मल बिहेवियर है। अजीब सा तो नहीं कहना चाहिए। अभी उसने बीटेक कर लिया है, लेकिन उसको कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हुई होंगी बिहेवियरल, तो उसने चेकअप करवाया तो उसके सेरोटोनिन लेवल कम आया, लो आया। तो वो अभी ट्रीटमेंट ले रहा है। तो ये सेरोटोनिन लेवल लो मतलब ठीक हो जाता है या मतलब नॉर्मल हो जाएगा?
I'm not a very, I can say I'm not an expert in psychiatric level. Mine is neuro-linguistic programming. In that level, I am an expert there. So to be very frank, I don't know about these things, but behavioral changes can take place once it is treated.
हाँ, मतलब बिहेवियरल मतलब नॉर्मल वो ट्रीट कर हो जाएगा क्या? मतलब मैं तो
It can be treated. The thing is, they have a behavioral pattern, and that has to be broken. When that see, always what happens is the child is not listening to me. One thing is the child is, you are telling the child repeatedly, you're not listening to me. You're not doing the things. For example, now Shikha will be telling your son that you are not doing what I'm asking you to do. The more and more you tell that, the child is believing that I will not do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot do it. After that, it becomes a belief that I cannot do it.
Yeah.
That's how the child is not able to. Right now, he is feeling that I'm trying to, but I'm not able to. It's because he has that belief in the mind. He has already started believing that I cannot do it. My mom tells me that I don't do. Got it? I'm not blaming you. We have not done it purposefully. Everyone. We don't do it purposefully. And as mothers, we all take care of our children and we want the best outcome, from our children. And we all know that. But somewhere unknowingly, we have done that mistake. And that is a fact. We have done that mistake. So these things are only to be changed in the pattern. What happens is we only continuously keep telling the same again and again. Now this pattern has to be changed. You can either change your words, you can change your actions and tell them, you have been such a lovely person. Why are you able to do these things now? Will you be able to, will you try to get this now? Get these things for me now? Or are you willing to do this? Change your different styles of communication, and that pattern should break. That old pattern shouldn't be there, and the mind starts thinking differently. Oh, now my mother is telling this. What happened?
Yeah.
And then
उसको मतलब पता होता है कि मम्मा अब ये बोलेगी.
Yeah, and that same pattern is used. Now you have to change that pattern. When you change that words, when you change your behavior, suddenly your actions are changed. Things are different for the child's mind also. And mind will start asking, hey, now what happened? Mama is asking this.
Okay.
Got it? And then he slowly starts thinking differently then.
Thank you, Kaneez ma'am. It's really like lovely, very lovely session for all of us.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
know it's your next session is there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you to all Wonder Woman for coming into this session.
Yes,
and
I
I think
would also
आपको
like to
अच्छा
thank
लगा होगा.
everybody. Thank you everyone for joining me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
thank you, thank you very much. Please, please take this kind of session in future.
Yeah, sure.
We need
Sure.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Pinky Ma, for coming. Thank you so much for your appreciation.
परी भी आई हैं.
नमस्ते पिंकी माँ.
So shall I
Namaste,
end?
beta. Namaste. God bless you, mere bachche. It was such a mesmerizing session. I was thinking where all I have gone wrong during my parenthood, because kids are grown up now. But yes, definitely this session is going to help me during my raising my grandchildren. Thank you so much, Kaneez Beba. Very, very beautiful session.
My pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, bachche. God bless you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Isha.
Bye everybody.
Bye.